Yes!
Ike, what are you doing?
Well, you say it's really important to do a SWOT analysis, so I'm analyzing my SWOT.
That's not exactly what I had in mind.
Oh, here we go again.
Don't even think about it.
Jenna writes to us and says that she's been watching our 5 for 5s and now understands the need for a strategy. Now, Jenna's been in business for a couple of years and wants to revisit her business plan to make sure that it's strategic. So her question for us is, what is the first step in creating a strategic business plan?
That's a great question, Jenna. And what we're going to talk about today is a very powerful tool to develop a strategic business plan. But what we're going to talk about may also be contrary to what you've learned in the past about a business plan, because I believe that your strategy actually needs to come before your business plan so that you can then incorporate it into your business plan and all aspects of your business. Now, to do this today, you're going to need 4 pieces of paper. So we're going to give you a chance to get that paper right now. If you want, you can pause the video. We'll be here when you get back. Now, hopefully, you now have 4 pieces of paper, and we're going to work on something called a SWOT analysis. And SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats.
Now, I remember hearing about SWOT analysis when I was in college, and I understand, as a matter of fact, I know your take on SWOT analysis is very different than most of us were taught.
Well, that's true. In most business schools and marketing classes, they do teach a SWOT analysis, but I believe my approach is more comprehensive and more informative. So, let's take the very first piece of paper, and at the top of it, write the word strengths. Now, divide that piece of paper into 3 columns. And at the top of the first column, write the words, my company. Top of the second column, my competition. Top of the third column, the market. Now, under the first column, my company, you're going to write down all of the strengths you believe your company has. For example, you might have a unique idea that sets you apart. You might have a great location. You might have great contacts. Those are all strengths that would go under the column of my company. We're now going to turn to the second column, my competition.
Now, you often say that your strategic opportunities lie in what your competition isn't doing. So I guess that makes this column really important.
Very important. There are so many businesses who don't even know who their competition is. But a real understanding of your competition and how they're positioned in the market is critical for you developing your own strategy. So let's look at that second column right now. So under the column marked My Competition, you're going to write all of the strengths you believe your competition has. For example, long time in business would be a strength. Maybe they're very well funded. Maybe they're already doing a high volume of business. And in the third column, you're going to write all of the strengths relative to the market in general. Maybe there's a high demand for your product or service right now. Maybe your demographic, your target market, is very affluent. And maybe there's a very good supply of products available to you right now. Those would all be strengths in the market. Now let's turn to the second page. At the top of that page, write the word weaknesses. Again, we divide the page into 3 columns. At the top of the first column, you'll write my company. Second column, my competition. Third column, the market. And you're going to identify all of the weaknesses that you believe are relevant to your company. So in that first column, you might write no name awareness, particularly if it's a new company, or minimal cash, if cash flow is a problem. And maybe you don't have quite the staff or infrastructure that you need at the moment. Under the second column, my competition, you might write words like bad reputation, or bad location, or high overhead, obviously depending on your competition and the situation. And in the third column, all of the weaknesses relative to the market. For example, if the economy is weak, or if it's a very specialized market, or maybe a seasonal market, those could all be weaknesses. At the top of the third page, write the word opportunities, and I bet you know what comes next. We're going to divide the page again into thirds. Top of the first column, my company, Second column, my competition. Third column, the market. Under the first column, my company, you might write words like cross-promotion if you have opportunities to cross-promote with other companies. You may have opportunities to get free materials, or maybe investors have expressed an interest in funding your business. Those would all be opportunities. For your competition, maybe they have the opportunity to add locations. Maybe they have opportunities for partnerships, or even for licensing. And under the third column, the market, opportunities may include new demographic groups coming into your area or the development of new projects. Those would all be opportunities. On the fourth page, we're going to write the word threats at the top, and we're going to follow the same formula. 3 columns, top of column 1, my company, column 2, the competition, column 3, the market. Now, depending on the industry you're in, for your company, the weather may be a threat. Possibility of cash shortages may be a threat. For your competition, legislation may be a threat. The threat of foreign competition may be there. And in the third column, the market, cheap imports could be a threat, and things like high energy costs as well.
So, Andrew, this information is obviously valuable to any business owner, but getting back to Jenna's question, what is the first step she needs to take in creating a strategic business plan?
Well, Jenna, look at it this way. If you had had all of this information when you first did your business plan, how would it be different? How would your business model be different? How would your infrastructure be different? How would your marketing be different? This applies to every aspect of your business. And if you're new in business, take this information and use it as you go into your business plan and determine how your business is going to move forward.
That's a great tip for a new business owner. What is our action step?
Well, we actually just did it. Your action step this week is to do a SWOT analysis. Now, if you were doing it along with us and you find that we moved a little quickly or that your notes are a little messy, don't worry, because in the program notes, we've actually provided you with the forms that you need to go back and do this in a little more detail to take a little more time. And you're going to find 2 bonus categories in there to make this even more comprehensive and more helpful. So work on it this week and in coming weeks. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Andrew Sokol.
And I'm Mike Krieger. Bye-bye.